Hello dear students, welcome back to my class. In previous video, we have discussed about the mutations and genetic code as well as about the tRNA as the adapter molecule. In this video, we will be discussing about a very important process known as translation. Have you ever wondered how antibiotics kill bacteria? For instance, when you have a sinus infection, the different antibiotics work in different ways. You know that whenever we have bacterial infection, doctors suggest us antibiotics, and antibiotics kill the bacteria. The different antibiotics work in different ways, but some attack a very basic process in the bacterial cell. These antibiotics knock out the ability to make the proteins. To use a little molecular biology vocabulary, these antibiotics block translation. We know that antibiotics are very effective against bacterial infection. So how it is possible? In biological language, we can say that these antibiotics block the process known as translation. In the process of translation, a cell reads information from a molecule called a messenger RNA or mRNA, and it uses this information to build a protein. Translation is happening constantly in a normal bacterial cell, just like it is in most of the cells of your body. Translation is a key to keeping you alive. Even translation also keeps the bacterial visitors also alive. See, translation is happening constantly in our body as well as in case of the normal bacterial cells in all the living organisms. And this process, translation, is keeping us alive. When you take certain antibiotics, for example, erythromycin, the antibiotic molecule will latch onto key translation molecule inside of bacterial cells and basically stall them, or it will stop the process of translation. With no way to make proteins, the bacteria will stop functioning and eventually die. You know that when there is a bacterial infection, first the bacteria build the wall around them. If that process is stopped, the bacteria will stop functioning. If bacteria could not make the proteins, proteins can be made by the process known as translation. So if translation is stopped, protein making will also stop. So the bacteria will stop functioning and it will eventually die. That's why infections clear up when they are treated with the antibiotic. Cells need translation to stay alive, and understanding how it works, so we can shut it down with antibiotics, it can save us from bacterial infections. Let us take a closer look at how translation happens from the first step to the final product. Protein synthesis, which is also known as translation. The central dogma describes how the DNA makes its own copies by DNA replication, then codes for the RNA by means of transcription, and RNA codes for the proteins by translation. For the creation of a new generation, the genetic information stored in the DNA has to be transferred from one generation to the another. See, for the creation of new generation, the genetic information stored in the DNA has to be transferred from one generation to another. The process begins with the replication of DNA, followed by transcription and translation. Let us have discussion on translation, that is protein synthesis and the structure of tRNA. The DNA is transcribed into mRNA on the basis of their complementarity. Translation is the process of conversion of nucleic acid information into amino acids. What is translation? It is the process of conversion of nucleic acids information into amino acids. There is no complementarity between amino acids and mRNA. Hence, translation is not controlled by complementarity, but it is controlled by the genetic code. In previous videos, we have discussed in details about the genetic code. Since amino acids cannot read this genetic code, they are dependent on an adapter molecule. And this adapter molecule is called as tRNA or transfer RNA. The amino acids cannot read the genetic code. So, to read the genetic code, these amino acids are dependent on an adapter molecule, and this adapter molecule is called as tRNA. Here you can see the structure of tRNA. Structurally, the tRNA is an inverted L-shaped molecule. This tRNA has an anticodon loop. Here you can see the anticodon loop of the tRNA. tRNA is an inverted L-shaped molecule. It is having anticodon loop. In this figure, you can see the anticodon loop here. It is having amino acid acceptor end. See, this one is the amino acid acceptor end. The anticodon loop makes bases complementary to the codes on the mRNA and amino acid end, binds to the respective amino acids. Thus, tRNA helps in protein synthesis. Each amino acid has a specific or special tRNA. The initiator tRNA initiates the translation, while there are stop codons which have no tRNA. Now let us discuss about protein synthesis, or the process known as translation. The process by which the mRNA codes for a particular protein is known as translation. By now you know what is translation. We can define translation as the process by which the mRNA codes for a particular protein is known as translation. In the process, the ribosome translates the mRNA produced from DNA into the chain of the specific amino acids. This chain of amino acids leads to protein synthesis. It is a process where the expense of ATP is required, and this energy is given by the charged tRNA. The whole machinery of translation is present in the ribosomes. See, ribosomes are also helpful. The whole machinery of translation is present in the ribosomes. Here you can see the process of the protein synthesis, peptide synthesis. Here you can see the growing peptide chain, the outgoing empty tRNA, incoming tRNA, it is bound to the amino acid. So coding is going on. Ribosome is helpful in this process. So this is the process of peptide synthesis, or we can say it is a translation process. The ribosome consists of a bigger subunit and a smaller subunit. The larger subunit in turn consists of two molecules of tRNA that are placed close so that peptide bond could be developed at the expense of sufficient energy. The mRNA enters the smaller subunit, which is held by the molecules of tRNA of the complementary codon that exists in the bigger subunit. Now see, the ribosome consists of two subunits, bigger and smaller. The bigger or larger subunit, it also consists of two molecules of tRNA. These are placed closed so that peptide bond could be developed at the expense of sufficient energy. Means energy is used in the formation of peptide bond. The mRNA enters the smaller subunit, which is held by the molecules of tRNA of the complementary codon that exists in the bigger subunit. Hence, two codons are held by two molecules of tRNA. The two codons are held by two molecules of tRNA placed near to each other, and a peptide bond is produced among them. When this process repeats, a large chain of amino acids is synthesized. At the stop codon, ribosome releases the amino acid chain. In next video, we will discuss about the regulation of gene expression. Thank you.